This video is about the new R&D Pro application I'm putting in the App Store. This is my release candidate. I've got it back from some users. They've reviewed it and they've asked me to make some basic clarifications as to how does it work and what's it doing when it does work. Give them some feedback that it is working. So I was just going to go over some of the features that have been added. This is the landing page when you go to the App Store and you click on the App Store. This is what you'll see. There's two buttons that are available from the home page. One of them is the document loader. Now this is just text. It's a particular font. One user didn't like my font choice. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm sorry. Also tooltips. So when you do move your cursor over something that you can pick, the cursor changes, and also it gives you an indication as to what's going to happen when you click on that. The other thing that you can click other than the document loader is the icon, the image, the logo that's up in the upper left hand corner, and this is by far the most important thing. It's on every page. What this does is it reestablishes the connection with Onshape. So if something should go wrong, if the computer's been sitting around, it's stagnant and you need a new token, what you want to do is you want to click on this icon, and what it does is it goes off to Onshape and re-hooks up to Onshape so that you're communicating again. This is a single page app. There is no browser navigation. There's no forward, there's no back, and by all means, there's no refresh this page or reload this page. Reloading this page will disconnect you from talking to Onshape. The best way to reestablish a connection with Onshape is to click the logo up in the upper left-hand corner. Let's go over the document loader. This is an application that I wrote several months ago. What's new to this is I've taken the status console and I've moved it to the center of the screen, increased the font, and I'm telling you, I'm retrieving some information from Onshape. It is tied to the size of your screen. The bigger the screen, the more images I have to download. If you resize the window and make it smaller, it will behave faster because it has to download less information from Onshape. So the document loader lists all of your documents. That's what's over here on the left-hand side, who did it, the modified date, and the actual name of the document. Going across your screen, these are the assemblies. They're represented by a square box. These are the part studios that are contained inside of this document. I've isolated out the parts only, but you can see everything that's inside of a document if you're drilling down trying to find a feature script, an image, or some other document that you've put inside of a document, but you can't find it. This will list everything out in the document so that you can easily retrieve it. What's new in this release, people were having problems with the right mouse button, left mouse button. Some browsers don't support right mouse buttons. So to get around that, everything now is a left mouse button click. And when I click on an image, I've got three options. I can open it in Onshape, I can look at a larger image, or I can go to the display state app. I'm going to open it inside Onshape. What this does is it fires off a new tab and it's starting to load that light into Onshape. I can also take a larger view of what this is. Some of these icons, especially with dark colors, it's kind of hard to see what they are. Instead of putting a bunch of large icons on the screen, I prefer to use the smaller icons because I get more of them on the screen. And then if I really want to see what's inside that, I'll just hit the large display so that I can see exactly what that assembly or that part studio contains. Let's take a look at Onshape, and it has loaded the blinker onto the screen, and it is tied back to my app. Right now, the document loader and display states are communicating with Onshape, and they are linked together. But there's a problem with this, and nobody should put a pink blinker onto a motorcycle. So let's go back to the display state program and fix this. I go back to the website, I click on it, and I say, let's open up the display state program. New, I'm showing you that I'm retrieving information. I'm retrieving all of the parts that make up that assembly, and I display it on the screen. With this revision, I've come up with a new color palette so that it's a little bit easier to choose the colors and to see what's going on. I can control the opacity, and also the properties are now available. And I can see that this LED is gray. I really wanted that to be red, so I can click on red. When I go back to Onshape, the LED is now red. Well, if that's the case, why don't I clean up all of these colors while I'm here? So I come back over here, I look at this resistor. Let's make these resistors blue, and I can click on all of the resistors and I can change them to blue. This is a PCB. I'm going to make that green. Notice how the images aren't updating because there's an image server that's trailing behind all of my clicks. And it will eventually update these colors. Takes it a couple of minutes to buffer it and get it all going. This is an aluminum housing, so let me click on that, make it look like aluminum. And this is the LCD backdrop, so we'll make that a porcelain. This is a cable, so we'll darken that. This is the other housing, we'll make it look like aluminum. This is more copper. I don't really have a copper in this palette, so let's go grab more colors and pick something that's more representative of copper. And then this is a thermistor. It's an orangish type color, so I can match the colors very quickly and change what it looks like inside of Onshape. If I come over here, now that's much better. Nice thing about using display states is that it's all in one location. Well, didn't get the cable, so let's go back to Onshape and let's pick black. And I don't want this to be transparent any longer. Let's go back over to Onshape and notice how everything's working simultaneously as I'm clicking. My website is hooked up to Onshape and we're basically working together. The last thing I want to do is I'm going to go through and I want to update some of these names. So this isn't part 1, this is a resistor. And what's new in this release is watch when the field loses focus, it updates the database, and that's why it's turning pink or red and then turning green. Red means that it's writing, and green means that it matched what was in the database, so it runs full circle. I take the value. Here, I'll explain it as I go. So I'm going to put this in my buffer. I'm going to highlight part 2. I'm going to paste it. And when I change to a different location, right now it wrote it and it came back and it checked because resistor matches what's in the database, which is resistor. It says everything okay with the green backdrop. Every time you do something, it should let you know that it's working, and then it should give you confirmation that it did what you asked it to. This is a thermistor. This is copper. So very quickly you can come through and you can update the names, the colors, the transparencies, and once again, everything stays in sync with Onshape. What I'm going to be working on next is a list, so that once you get this configured the way you like, you can click on save. It'll save the display state, and then you'll be able to toggle through various display states. Also, what I want to do is have a hidden state, so I can hide a part, I can show a part. Right now the API doesn't quite do that, so as soon as that's available, then that'll be added to display state / document loader, which is all one container, which is R&D Pro. This is going to be in the App Store real soon. Keep your eye out for it. It should be released any day now.